It has been 1 week since the Battle of Deca City, which everybody is still repairing the city, but it left a giant hole on the ground where the city has been. And so the tragedy is still actually there. It was once a good city, but now everything was actually destroyed. And then the eyewitness reports say that a group of 20 men and women have actually held a grudge against the heroes. And they actually falsify the reports of the organized crime. They actually drew the heroes out of the city before the attack begins. And also, in response to the attacks and the onslaught of the citizens of Deca City that actually took up arms, they had to defend themselves to do that. And shortly after the events, the heroes actually returned to join in the fight. And after a vicious battle, we can actually see that many citizens have actually lost their lives, in which the deaths of all 20 criminals have actually been confronted, which we actually knew that the CEO have actually happened to be the president of the city. So despite of losing his legs in the ferocious battle, he escaped with his life, in which we actually knew that the use of quarks on citizens has greatly contributed to the death toll. So we actually knew that this will actually not be actually good. And with many mysteries in the stories remain, the investigation continues. Which in a hotel where the League of Villains are still in there enjoying some sushi, which we actually see Mr. Compress's face revealed. And also, we actually seen everyone actually enjoying themselves, including Twice, who actually held a memorial for Toka, which she actually is still alive. Even though it was hilarious of him to think that she actually is dead, but which he's in a word that I'm actually won't actually say to hurt anyone's feelings, which he actually is still upset about it until they were actually being called by Destro, in which we actually seen them actually walking up towards a room which that leads to an elevator. But then we actually saw everyone from the Liberation Army actually gathered by Destro. But then Shigaraki actually say the Liberation Army will be reborn. And so even though he's actually was banged up and his hands are now destroyed, we actually seen one of his hands still survive, in which he actually say the idea of a new liberation army will actually shows up, in which he actually say that he will mean that Shigaraki has been liberated, in which he's actually worthy of the throne. And so today they will actually carry out the resurrection with Shigaraki as the supreme leader. And they will actually keep on walking towards the true path of liberation, which now they actually have a new name, which under the leadership of everyone of the league, which they actually call themselves the Paranormal Liberation Front. And that's actually a scarier but a terrifying name for a villains group. So we're actually going to see a whole new threat that actually going to happen, in which everybody is actually excited about that name. And so we actually saw Hawks, was actually too late, in which he was actually there when it all actually happened. And we knew that this will not actually be good, as we saw a man they actually killed. And so he actually knew that he actually have gotten himself into a bigger mess. And so Destro had actually made a statement that he actually brought, and actually brought a performance that he actually made. So the doctor has actually has said that his memories have returned, and his quirk has returned as well. And just as promised, he will grant him power that he actually desires, in which he's actually going to become something worse, which we actually going to see what's going to happen when Hawks actually say that it'll be over for the country, in which he actually going to inform everybody about the new group that's going to happen. Now, the League of Villains and the Superpower Liberation Army have joined forces, just as the previous chapter review actually states, in which they actually call themselves the Paranormal Liberation Front. A terrifying name like that is actually a villain's name, and it actually meant that this could be bad for the heroes. So we're actually going to see what's going to happen to the heroes when they actually hear about the news on the next chapter next weekend. So anyway, like this video, subscribe for more, and comment on what you think about the manga chapter. You guys can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and like my Facebook page. Until then, this is anime guy Jordan here saying sign out. Laters.